I'm going to comment and react to the first 10 minutes of this fabulous podcast video in which these three entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals are talking about the AI age and some fantastic things they are doing to inspire people to pursue that outcome. Who am I? I'm Perry Gruber, the Enlightenment Guy. Let's watch this one together.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody, welcome to Moonshots, another episode of WTF Just Happened in Tech. I'm here with my Moonshot mates, Dave Blunden and AWG, Alex Wiesner-Gross. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, and a huge shout out to the team. You know, we were going to shoot this podcast last night, and Alex had so much material that happened in the last 3 days that we just needed to get in here. I mean, things are changing so quickly. So basically, the team pulled an all-nighter last night.
Okay, let's talk about these three guys real quickly. It's important that you understand who they are if you don't already. Some of you probably know them, but if you don't, let me give you a little background on these three people. So the first person is Peter Diamandis, and Peter is an entrepreneur, a physician, and a optimist with regard to artificial intelligence, the AI age, and what's coming in the future. In fact, he is doing a lot in the world to inspire people, experts, high net worth individuals, and other entrepreneurs to develop the technologies that are going to create the super abundant world we're moving into. Peter is, I believe he's the founder and executive chairman of the XPrize Foundation. Many of you probably know that. You can do some research to find out what the XPrize Foundation does, but it does some really inspiring work for sparking innovation in technology and enabling entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals to invest in technologies that are bringing the AI age and the era of superabundance and the singularity. So that's Peter. Dave is an entrepreneur, and he has apparently founded more than a dozen startups, many of which have become very successful. And so he has real good background in artificial intelligence and other technologies, as well as the startup world. And then Alexander is I believe he's a physicist and a computer scientist, entrepreneur, and investor. All three of these people are investors, by the way. And so together, these people meet regularly to talk about technologies that are moving forward the AI age and ushering in the world that we want to see in the future, the world that's going to benefit us all. Now, the cool thing about these three people is, and what they're going to be talking about here, is they represent rich white men. And these three men are passionate. Not just, they're not doing what they're doing in order to gobble up all the money. So you may remember in one of my last AI in Spirit videos, I did a commentary on the AI superintelligence ban petition, the AI superintelligence ban petition that was announced, I believe, last week. And the founder of that petition, his first name is Anthony, I don't remember his last name, but he was talking about the high net worth of the billionaires, a third of them who want the singularity to happen. These people fit into that. Another third of the billionaires want to control the world. These people do not fit in that category. And then the third of billionaires he was talking about, the founder of the petition was talking about, was billionaires who just want to gobble up all the money. These people don't fall into that category either. These three people, I am certain, are all high net worth individuals. They may or may not be billionaires, I don't know, but they're definitely not trying to control the world. They're not trying to gobble up all the money. They are in favor of the artificial age, the age of artificial intelligence, which is bringing superabundance. And when you hear what they're talking about in these first 10 minutes, you will see that they are as excited as you should be about the future because of what the future is offering us. So let's keep listening to what they're having to say, because the first 10 minutes, which is what you're going to hear here, is really inspiring. And then I'll be jumping in and out to make some commentary. So let's take a listen.
Pull together these stories, and it's epic. So thank you, team behind the scenes.
Yeah, right now our fourth moonshot mate, Salim, is on an airplane. I just spent the last 4 days with him here in Calamigos in Malibu for XPrize Visioneering 2025, which is a story I want to open up with. Dave, I wish you were here. Alex, I wish you were here. It was awesome. So for those you don't know, XPrize every year gets together our brain trust and our benefactors, and we debate and we discuss what are the problems that aren't being solved that need to be solved, or what are the challenges that are too far out and we need to accelerate them and bring them forward. And that's Visioneering. It was an amazing 2.5, well, really 4 days in total, but 2.5 days in which we raised, Dave, you're on my board here at XPrize. We raised $3.5 million of capital last night.
All
So,
right.
so
Do
that
that
was,
every night. That's $1 billion a year.
yeah, that would be awesome. And someday
Hey,
we
well,
will.
just so the audience knows the sacrifices Peter makes to bring you all of this information, so he's on stage all day yesterday. Tomorrow boards a flight to Riyadh, so we'll be in Saudi. He'll be on stage the day after that with Eric Schmidt kicking off that event. That's 10 time zones away. So watch the footage of him from Riyadh and see what that looks like.
How
But man, what
wired
a
will I be
workaholic.
on caffeine? Oh my God, it's great. But we announced yesterday the our impact report for X Prize, and the numbers are staggering. We have massive detailed report, and it's we every dollar invested in a prize, we get a 60x return. So, $1 million prize is driving $60 million of R&D invested by all the teams. They're all optimists. They all think they can win. And they're all sort of like a Darwinian evolution to go and solve these problems. So super pumped about that. But I want to report, this is the first group to hear about it on who won X Prize Visioneering.
Okay,
So
so I just want to jump in here, because what he just said there is really important to pay attention to. So Peter is talking about the XPrize. I told you a little bit about it at the beginning, and he did a much better job of describing it than I was. The visioneering that he does with his brain trust. What he was talking about with that 60, I think it was 60 million, or it might have been 60 billion. I think it was $60 million. This is a really good example of what he's talking about. So when the XPrize, one of the XPrizes, I'm just looking at my notes here, one of the XPrizes that was awarded a while ago was back in 1996. Peter offered a $10 million prize for the first privately financed team that could build and fly a 3-passenger vehicle 100 kilometers into space within 2 weeks. That was his goal of accelerating the pace of technology, bringing future technology into the present through inspiring investment, offering this prize in order for us to capture those technologies that would ordinarily not come for quite some time. As a result of announcing the $10 million prize in 1996, according to Wikipedia, 26 teams from 7 nations invested more than $100 million in pursuit of the $10 million prize. And then on October 4 of 2004, that prize was won by the American Mojave Aerospace Ventures that completed the contest in their spacecraft called Spaceship One. You may remember this. So what Peter's talking about here is how his organization, XPrize, accelerates spending in certain technologies. And they have been very successful in getting that spending to occur. That's where he's talking about. I think he said every $3 million generates $60 million or something like that. Whatever that proportion he said, that's an astounding proportion. It's an astounding result that he's producing with this XPrize. So think about this. He created this XPrize in order to accelerate innovation. Now, I'm sure he's acting in his own self-interest. He's probably investing in some of those companies as well and possibly making money off of that. But at the same time, he's accelerating these technologies, bringing them from the future into the present by accelerating them so that we all can benefit from these technologies. And now that he's focusing on the singularity and artificial intelligence and stellar technologies, he's accelerating the creation of technologies that will ultimately lead to the superabundance that we all, at least some of us, want to see in the world. So let's keep watching. This is really a fantastic announcement that he's about to make.
We enter the 2.5-day program with about 20 concepts. We have 5 different domains, 5 different grand challenge areas, and we've got 4 concepts per. We narrowed down to 2 and then down to 1, which leaves us with 5 that enter the battle royale, as we call it. And we go from 5 to 3, and then last night we got down. Well, let me just show you the numbers here. So, XPrize Visioneering winners for 2025. We were expecting to just have one of these prizes get funded to go into development. It turned out all 3 of these got funded to go into development. Let me mention what they are because I'm very proud of them. The first prize is called Abundance, and which, gotta love the name. And it was actually 2 of our Abundance 360 members who proposed this and raised the capital to get this going. So what is the Abundance X Prize? It is deliver to a community food, water, housing, electricity, and bandwidth for $250 a month. That's the goal. So
Cool.
So think about that. $250 a month. $250 a month. You get, what did he say? Food, electricity, housing, internet, and water for $250 a month. There are some families out there in United States that are paying close to $250 in the summer for electricity, and probably that amount for water too. I know my neighbor in this apartment complex in the summertime, he spends $100, over $100, he told me, on cooling, electricity costs for cooling alone. So think about that. You're able to get housing. What did he say? Housing, water, electricity, internet connectivity. Water, housing, electricity, internet connectivity. And there was one other thing I'm not remembering right now, but these 5 things for $250. This is what I was saying in my actually in every AI and Spirit video that I've published so far, where I have talked about how the future that's coming is going to create products and services, goods and services, at costs that are so low, the producers of those goods and services are going to be able to pass that tremendous savings on to consumers. And what that does 2 different things. On one hand, it enables, this is so good, the products that are being produced are going to cost less to make, which is going to mean you don't need as much money to get the things that you need, which is, on the other hand, going to make your money more powerful with regard to its ability to purchase things. Do you see that? That's abundance. If you can spend $250 and get your housing, your electricity, your water, your food, and internet, the money that you would otherwise be spending those things on is now available for you to buy other things. This is the beginning of the age of superabundance. And these 3 people are some of the people who are making it happen, who are doing what's necessary to create this future that is going to benefit all of us. Elon Musk is one of those people. So can you see how here we have three high net worth individuals? They may not be billionaires, but they're high net worth individuals. I'm sure of that. And they're working together to create something that's going to tremendously benefit everyone on the planet. So good. And by the way, they're all acting in their personal self-interests. They're not altruists. They're doing this because they're excited about it and they're passionate about it. Let's keep watching.
Everything you basically need. And, the conversation last night, we can talk about this, is uh, there's potential for a lot of civil unrest, right? As people start losing jobs, as, subgroups start becoming wealthier. And
So let me just jump in here and say the key word here is potential. So it will never get to the degree where unrest is rampant or substantial, because the government's going to have to step in. Ordinary people will not tolerate civil unrest. So while there is the potential, the likelihood of that getting very large is very small. But it's good that he's recognizing it and wanting to do something about it. Let's hear him talk more, because that's exactly what he's planning to do.
we've talked about this. I'm absolutely clear in the next decade, we're going to have, extraordinary abundance, uplifting everybody. But it's this turbulent period of the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years that's concerning. And the idea here is, if all of a sudden moms and dads have all of their bases covered, um, you know, the basics of life for $250 a month, then they can start to think about, okay, how do I use AI? How do I use this technology to be an entrepreneur, to create a better life? Any thoughts on that, Dave?
Well, especially that last fundamental of food, water, shelter, bandwidth. If
Bandwidth,
you're going
yes.
to contribute in this global revolution, I love the fact that they added that as a fundamental necessity. Inside the $250 limit. That's just such a great idea. But that unlocks your ability to contribute, to make a living, to get educated. All education will move to AI, so you can have the
Healthcare is
best
going to move to
degree,
AI. Yeah.
healthcare, all of that. That ties to bandwidth. So it really is a fundamental necessity, and I love it.
Yeah, Alex, any thoughts?
Yeah, this sounds a lot like a universal basic services concept, UBS, as
Yes.
sort of the symmetric dual to UBI, universal basic income. I'm very bullish on universal basic services in general. I think I would expect it's an artifact of a mature economy that the cost of living can be driven down to near zero as part of a sort of lifestyle subscription, and Amazon super prime, if you will.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
super excited
there's
about
a
this.
lot of studies that say that universal basic income backfires in terms of it causes depression, causes alcoholism, causes drug use. But services, where you actually get the things you need to survive, still encourages you to work and contribute on top of those services. It's a much better idea.
Okay, what this guy just said is complete bullshit. I know inherently that what he said is complete bullshit. There are no studies out there that make the connection between a universal basic income and an increase in alcoholism, drug use, or depression. I know that inherently that is not the case. But I didn't want to make this video based on just my conjecture. So I went to ChatGPT and I prompted it. I asked it. I took this guy's quote and I put it into ChatGPT. I'm gonna show you my ChatGPT, a screen recording of my ChatGPT's response, so that you don't have to take my word for it. I put the prompt in ChatGPT and asked it, is it true what this guy just said, making the link between these negatives, drug use, alcoholism, depression, etc.? Is it true that UBI triggers those things? And of course, as I knew, there is no study out there that makes that claim. In fact, every study on UBI says the opposite. Universal basic income increases self-reported well-being. It increases people's ability to rise into greater levels of prosperity for themselves. It increases their sovereignty. It increases their health. almost every measure, universal basic income produces benefits or at least stays equal. That's what ChatGPT said, and it offered sources. So you don't have to take my word for it when I say this guy is talking out his ass. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And this just goes to show you, just because people are rich or famous, or just because people like this guy has founded 21 companies or whatever, just because of those accomplishments, that does not mean this guy is a genius or that he knows what he's talking about, especially when he starts talking out of his area of expertise. And the reason why the studies are showing that UBI produces these beneficial outcomes is because of how the fundamental spiritual dynamics underlying physical reality, those fundamental spiritual dynamics do not include human beings having to earn a living. Human beings are the only ones on this planet that believe and act as though they must earn a living. And this guy, Dave, he is contributing, he is perpetuating the highly distorted belief that you have to earn a living, that you have to work, or if you don't, you're going to get depressed, or you're going to start drinking or using drugs. I'm harping on this because it's really important to see that there's a distortion here. And even in my Worthiness Wednesdays episodes, I've talked about the fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper. This guy probably swallowed a lot of that indoctrination, the ant and the grasshopper indoctrination that shows that you have to work. No, you don't have to work. There's no animal or plant on the planet that is working to earn the things that it needs in order to survive on this planet. Human beings are the only ones doing it. Remember, just because someone is rich or famous doesn't mean they know what they're talking about.
In our pregame here that Alex doesn't even use caffeine, so I don't know how that's possible.
That caffeine is a universal basic service for sure. So this won the most capital last night, and it's going into prize development. I'll report on it. We'll have this team at the Abundance Summit. Both of them are Abundance members, and we'll talk about it. The second prize.
So before he gets to the second prize, I just want to mention, notice what he just said there. This Abundance Prize won the most support in terms of financing. That tells you that there are a lot of people out there a lot of wealthy investors who are recognizing the income, the profit opportunity. Think about the paradox here. The profit opportunity of investing in a technology that's going to dramatically reduce the cost of your basic necessities, including internet, including housing, you guys, including housing. So the investors who put that money in are going to make some money off of someone who develops an ability to provide a community with those 5 benefits, all for $250. Perhaps those people are going to benefit financially from putting their money into a team that can achieve that. Who cares if they make money from it? That entire community is going to benefit, and eventually so will the rest of the world. So can you see how the investor class, the billionaires, they are essential to the future we're moving into because they have the money that can inspire the inventors to make the things that will create the superabundant future we're moving into. It's so good. There are no evil people on the planet, especially in the class of billionaires. Yes, there are billionaires who do goofy, dumb things, but that's not because they're billionaires. It's because they have distortions going on in their belief constellations. They don't align with their broader perspective. They're pure positive energy. And so they behave in ways consistent with that lack of alignment. That doesn't make them evil. It just makes them distorted. Just like how I pointed out this guy Dave said a bunch of bullshit about UBI. That doesn't make him an evil person. That just means he's got a lot of distortions about the spiritual dynamics underlying how physical reality works. That's all that is. he can recover from that. And so can anyone else. So good. Okay, let's listen to what else these guys have to say.
Surprisingly, that got top honors and received enough capital to go into development is a Fusion XPrize. And so here I am thinking, okay, there are 37 venture-backed fusion companies. There's been about $10 billion invested into fusion. What do they need a fusion prize for? And amazingly, and I met with, there were four fusion companies, four, solidly funded ongoing fusion companies, as well as some of the top faculty, one professor from MIT, and saying, no, we need an X Prize to move this forward. We need the public to understand how this important this is and how the government needs to come in and support it. So this one is not fully defined as a prize, but $500,000 was committed to develop the prize and move it forward into potentially a prize. Alex, I think you have some feelings about this one.
Yeah, I think Fusion is already well capitalized, but I would say ultimately, to the extent that the limits of economic growth are bound by our ability to solve fusion, I think on the margin it would be more helpful to allocate more capital toward fusion energy sources, and perhaps this helps with that.
Alex, you know what happens after this visioneering phase is the world's greatest experts on the topic all get together, in the Peterverse, and then they contribute all their ideas. And then not all of them get from there to actually being a prize, but you learn so much about the state of what's happening along the way. So I love it when a topic like fusion gets through this part of the funnel, regardless of how it ends up, because the amount of information we'll bring back into the podcast on this will be just immense.
So this is really good to know what Dave just said. He's redeeming himself in this video. So it's like when you announce prizes like this, you attract all kinds of talent that's interested in winning that prize. And so you can see how that same thing that he's talking about happening with fusion is also going to happen with the Abundance Prize. And so you can see how these high net worth individuals are putting up money, which then attracts the best and the brightest to want to compete, to develop, to meet the challenge of the prize, thereby creating the technology now instead of having to wait later. That's the whole process of this XPrize type process. And now Peter is aligning it to fusion and before this abundance thing that's really great. So I'm just really tickled by these high net worth individuals driving these technologies forward. Let's keep listening.
It's interesting. The CEO of Commonwealth Fusion, Bob Mumgardner, is going to be with us in Riyadh, and he's going to be on stage with me at the Abundance 360 Summit in March. And I was on the phone with him getting ready for what we're going to be doing in Riyadh next week. And he said, listen, I heard that you're talking about a Fusion X Prize. I am so excited about that. And so here we have the best funded, most advanced fusion company actually excited about a Fusion X Prize. So I'm excited to dig in further. All right, the third prize is actually something I love. It's called Wall-E. We'll have to be, in debate and discussion with Disney about this. But here's the prize: dump a machine into a garbage dump, and the machine sorts the trash and generates, piles of metals and foods and paper. And basically, can we take our current, uh, you know, what do you want to call them, landfills, and actually reutilize them? So I have the way I would actually win it, but I don't know. I think this is a convergence of technologies. It's going to be AI, it's going to be robotics, it's going to be material sciences. Any thoughts, Dave?
Alex brought us.
So this is really, really cool. Notwithstanding the full story of Wall-E, the movie, remember, people who are making movies have distortion. And on top of the distortion, they add in a bunch of bullshit to keep the movie entertaining. The Wall-E movie, as you may remember, includes a human civilization that's morbidly obese and sits around on these deck chairs in these spaceships. They've left planet Earth because planet Earth has turned into a great big garbage dump. And Wall-E, the machine, is left to try to clean it up and restore the planet. That notwithstanding, the idea of creating a machine, probably run through artificial intelligence, that you put in our landfills that can go through the landfills and separate the materials into different piles. So a pile of metal that can be used to recycle, a pile of things that can maybe be repurposed, a pile of things that can be bioremediated, such as compost, old foods, stuff like that. That would be a really positive thing to turn those landfills into something productive. Now, of course, right now, some landfills we already turn into productive things by covering them with a tarp, and then methane is created inside of those landfills, and the methane is burned in electricity plants to create electricity for nearby communities. But this is taking technology a whole different direction, and I think it's really, really cool. All three of these ideas, these XPrize ideas, are outstanding, but the one that I really want to focus on is the first one. It is super inspiring, and not only is the idea itself inspiring, but what I think is super inspiring is the fact that the whole XPrize process is being managed and moved forward by multimillionaire investors, accredited investors, who are interested in seeing these kinds of technologies come together. And through their interest, contributing the money, they attract experts in their field who also are passionate and desirous of seeing these technologies come forward. And so I'm really inspired by what Peter and David and Alexander are talking about here, particularly with that first prize, where they're wanting to see someone create a solution that enables families to get their housing, their electricity, their water, their internet. Let's see, housing, electricity, water, internet. There's one more that I keep forgetting. But those 5 things at $250 a month, that is going to be astounding. And what I really like about this idea is that it's geared to cover the gap between our reality now and when superabundance happens, which is expected to be somewhere around 2030, give or take. So many great people are following their individual self-interest to pursue the outcome of the AI age, and their selfish pursuits are going to create the superabundant world that we're all going to enjoy. And that world is right around the corner. And just like I said in my last AI in Spirit video, even the people who are against this future are helping make this future happen, because what you resist persists and gets bigger. Oh, life is so good, you guys, and the future is going to be even gooder. If you watched this far, thanks for watching. Make a comment. If you have a comment to make or a question you want to ask, put it in the comments section. And until the next video, I'll see you in the comments, and then see you in the next video.